Hi, hello everybody. Welcome to our live, welcome to the replay. I'm Amy and my friend Nicole will be on. We are going to be talking about the benefits of channeling. So I'll let her join, we'll let everybody join. Hi, welcome. Happy day. Hope you all are staying warm. It's a Thursday, so we're almost there to Friday. Woohoo! Hello, hello. Today we're going to do some readings if you're interested in getting a reading. And we're also going to talk about the benefits of channeling. So my friend Nicole is here from our shared account at Spirit School Magic. I'm going to bring her on. Welcome, welcome. Oh, hi. It takes a minute, so it might just take a minute here. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh my God. So good. Yeah.
Good. I'm just putting in some information here. I'm going to pin it. So everybody's joining. I mentioned we'll do some readings and talk about the benefits of channeling. I'm so excited. Our class is coming back. People can enroll right now if you're wanting to get started, and then we have some fun events. But there's so much to share here and lots of amazing energy from Spirit today. So Nicole, for everybody that's new, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi. My name is Nicole Angel. I'm a psychic medium. I do live large group readings where we channel your loved ones in spirit. We do psychic readings. We do past, present, future timelines. And I also channel Archangel Metatron. So I'm considered a trance medium where I go into an altered state of consciousness and I allow the angels to use my vocal cords and my mouth to give messages directly to the audience. It's pretty wild. And I do psychic development courses online and in person. So as Amy mentioned, we have Spirit School Online, which is fucking awesome if you want to learn how to channel or develop your gifts further.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Thank you. And I'm Amy, and I run Raise the Vibe Tribe and Spirit School. And I'm an energy therapist and nurse that I transitioned some time ago into channeling. So when I vocal channel, I channel the Council of Light. Today we'll be doing what's called relay channeling, and that's where we get the message and then we share it sometimes in our own words. So we will be conscious and here and alert. And we both work just with your name. So we're so excited about that. Before we get started, I want to welcome everybody, especially if you're new. We'll be doing more lives, so y'all can be sure to put notifications on. We'll be back on again tomorrow on our pages, Amy Sikarskie, and then my angel team. So Nicole, what do you feel like? Do you want to take a question, or is there anything like a message for the collective that's coming through to get started?
Yeah. I mean, definitely there's questions. I see them going through the chat. So whenever you're ready, just let me know. But I feel like, yeah, for the collective would be really nice to kick that off. So today is Thursday, the 28th, and Spirit just saying our message for today is really consistency, being consistent in all that you do. So whether that's consistency with work, consistency with discipline, consistency with a spiritual practice, like don't do it one time expecting results. We have to be consistent and valiant with our efforts. So it's like getting up and brushing your teeth every day, getting up and channeling spirit every day, getting up and working out every day, eating right every day. So this consistency in our excuse me, when I start to channel I lose my voice sometimes. So our consistency in our lives is which builds stamina and momentum to create the change that we are wanting to seek and see in the spiritual world as well as in our physical reality. So it's always in consistency.
Yeah, and I love that you're sharing that, because if we don't have energy one day, you know, and we're like beating ourselves up because we think we should show up even more, small steps, guys, little baby bites, like just stay consistent in whatever it might be. Sometimes I'm like, let me just stay consistent. You know, if it's just like brushing your teeth that morning,
Yeah.
the little things if we're overwhelmed, and then that builds into the big things and it really adds up over time. So we talk about energetic hygiene, spiritual hygiene, and physical care and safety of the body, and that's also coming through as a piggyback off of consistency is what I'm getting. So it feels like some of us, they're saying, might be feeling a slump or a lull, but health is going to be returning, and so positive mindset as well. And then they're talking about ways that you all can get messages from your team and spirit and the intuition right now. So you'll feel it in your heart or your gut, and sometimes you'll have this message, like this thought that just keeps coming through. So if you have a thought that keeps coming through around your health, they want you to really look into alternative means or adding into your routine some supplements, or maybe it's a detox, but there's something that they really want you to look into to get the new year starting off really right.
Yeah.
So awesome and beautiful. There are so many questions flowing through, and somebody mentioned about, I'll give you this one, Nicole, because you're in Aries. Mm-hmm. They asked, what will the year 2024 be like for Aries? And I just love that question.
Oh, really? Oh, change and change in numbers. So they're just saying like change in frequency and change in numbers, like really following the numbers to your highest light or your path, but always change, knowing that this year is just about change. So like the first month, if you start a project, you may pivot on the of that project to have it complete into something else. So it's not leaving the project completely, but it's like changing it a little bit and tweaking it. So just knowing and flowing with the change that starts to come in and allowing spirit to pivot with you so that you're making the actual best choice for your timeline so that things keep moving forward. So like for me, I was going to ask you this, Amy. I know like the human design project, like I'm learning more about that. And so like I'm a manifestor generator or generate something like that. So like I know that I have to be in the flow and manifesting and always creating to get to the next project. And like that speaks so true to me. It's like I always have to be doing something, but not to the point of exhaustion, but to the point of creativity and joy. And so I feel like that's really what the like that's what the theme is for 2024 for Aries, is just consistency and change and joy, which is kind of counterintuitive because it's consistency, like doing something consistent with discipline, but also allowing for the change to come in and pivot and create the ultimate surprise to where more abundance is revealed. So kind of like twofold.
Yeah, I love that. I was actually asking like for the collective, and it was similar to that. So when you take our sign or our human design, it's just how we interact or approach the energy that's here for us, because I do see that there are changes coming in such a beautiful way for 2024, but also I see the angels kind of putting it back onto our plate, like, hey, this is where the consistency comes up. What are we doing? And it doesn't have to be super intense. It can be holding a positive outlook or being open to messages when we have a message to actually take an action item, do something in the physical realm that we do that. So I'm loving it. Yeah, it's all blending together. And I saw another question here. So keep your questions coming in, guys. This is really fun. I'm scrolling back up. So Jade, you put this through a couple times. How do we heal our energy after someone has abused us? And that is a big thing right now that Nicole and I have been seeing in spiritual community in different types of ways. So there's all types of abuse, there's all types of trauma. And what happens energetically, we'll talk energetically, is it can dent the aura, it can rip the aura, you can find your chakras out of alignment and everything get mixed and twisted around. So I would start with meditation. I would start with some energy therapy sessions. I had some events happen the past couple of years that, whoa, I needed to go to an energy therapist. I consistently for a couple of months, like, really, really consistently. And that just helped me get back on track. So when we talk about trauma or abuse, we're mostly talking about this life, but also leads into the DNA or ancestry. And sometimes things can affect us in such an intense way that maybe we're like, why is this so hard for me to get past? And you might find that you had a past life with the same situation or the same person. So that to me is what really helped when I did the energy sessions with my healer. I got a lot of information, and it was beautiful because as being a clairvoyant channel myself, I would see, an aspect of this lifetime, and then she would fill in the puzzle. We both got messages at the same time, and the healing was really profound. But for somebody starting out, I would say energy sessions and your own meditations positivity and good clean food and air and sleep. So you want to do mind, body, spirit, soul when it comes to it. And also Metatron, he's saying boundaries. Don't forget your boundaries. And that's so hard for some of us that have really been through it, or empaths and those that are sensitive. But once he pushes too far, well, like the boundaries, the walls really do come up. So Nicole, what do you have to share about this?
Yeah, so healing from trauma or abuse or grief even happens in multi-layers, and it's multifaceted. And I find that using a combination of spiritual therapy, therapy, and like for me, traditional talk therapy is really good, and reprogramming the brain and nervous system so that you can have a forward trajectory and not keep creating that in your chosen reality. Because those of us who have been victims of abuse or violence, we can tend to recreate that in our reality over and over again, because you're in like a trauma state or a loop. I call it like a loop in reality, and you can create the consistent pattern over and over again. So you want to break that reality loop, and you want to go in a forward trajectory. So the way that you do that is through these other practitioners and therapists. And I mean, every amazing channel I know has a support team. Every amazing psychic I know has a support team. It takes a village. Every amazing mama I know has a support team. And it really does take a village of strong, intuitive, moral, and ethical beings to hold that line from a community aspect, so that everybody can walk in their own light and what is freedom to that person. So I'm also hearing in spirit, don't rush the process. So healing from trauma or abuse, because you're not physically being beaten up anymore, or because you're not physically being violated anymore, doesn't mean that the abuse doesn't still continue, or that you look the same. You might look the same and go out into the reality and people think you're healed because you look the same. You have makeup on, you have your hair done, whatever. That's not the case of what's happening internally. So really just give yourself that time to heal and trust the process. And that's why I said, like, it takes a village of like other queens, other kings, other people to hold that energy for you, so that you can safely unravel and then get to the next timeline of health and healing. So.
I love that. Yeah, I really feel all of this, and I'm feeling like it is a season of healing, and some of these questions coming in are all around that. And so one of the messages that you shared, Nicole, is just still coming in is support. A support system is very important. And also I'm hearing gaslighting, like making sure we're not being gaslighted, and that we can feel seen and heard, and that our perspective of our experience is valid, so it's honored, and then finding the tools to work through it. So it's a real big thing. Like even as channels, you know, we work with spirit, we get messages, we feel guidance and support, as is everybody here with your intuition. But we're humans in this human reality, and really what we lean on are our own morals, ethics, and integrity, and we can't really change what other people do when they step out of alignment. So how we hold ourselves in those surprise situations is really, really important, and having a strong, clean, energetic foundation is really beneficial for if anything like that comes up. So okay, so let me flow to another topic, and I just want to thank everybody for the question and for bringing it through, because it's really important right now. So someone is asking, okay, Carrie, hi, how can one help someone else start their shadow work journey? Should one just let the person be? Nicole, I'll let you start on this. I'll let you take this one, shadow work support.
So if you're talking about personally, like doing shadow work takes, again, a team of very highly enlightened individuals, people that can hold the space. I call it unraveling. So I have girlfriends of mine that do breath work therapy, and like literally they create a safe space of like pillows and blankets and drumming and rattles and singing bowls, like where they can take a person on a breath work journey and physically support them as well, to where they are unraveling that shadow side or anything that comes up in a traumatic way. So there's a bunch of different ways to do that. So it's having a team of people, like literally like 3 or 4 people. It doesn't have to be a lot of people. You can even have one person, but just somebody that you know and trust and feel safe with, that you can unravel the deepest parts of you. Because a lot of the shadow work too that I find is that we're moving through ancestral trauma. So although you may have like a piece of it in your chosen reality, it stems back from layers and layers of family and ancestral trauma that you've incarnated in this life to actually stop. So, or to evolve from, not stop, because we don't know, it might not be anything bad. So just looking at that shadow side, and I particularly like looking at the shadow side. I particularly like looking at what I still needs to be healed and what I get triggered by, because then I know where the chips are in my auric field, or where the triggers are. Because for me, as a light worker or somebody who brings light to the planet, if I have something that can trigger me inside, then that's an invitation for those lower energies to come in. So as a channel, I always want to check where my triggers are and up level, so I don't have an opportunity for those lower energies to come in. So again, doing your shadow work with people you really admire and trust, I would say, is the best thing to do.
Yeah, I'm feeling all of that. A couple of things to share about it is, like, when you're talking about being the channel, we talk about this in our Learn to Channel class, you guys, that we're now enrolling for the cohort for the winter season. And the important thing about that is, if you feel like you have this really quick knee-jerk reaction or a strong response to something, there's something within that. Like, if that was me, I would look at it deeper. So what I've learned through all of the healing that I've done is to pause and look at things from multiple perspectives, because we don't really know all the reasons why something's happening or why somebody's responding the way that they are. So having the gratitude for the awareness is important, and also holding space for ourselves and others during altercations or during these deep shadow self-healing experiences or times. So the question was, like, how can we support a friend? And let's look at that like outside of a therapy session. So let's look at it day to day. And I would say by listening, by letting them know there's no judgment here, like, share with me what's coming up, because sometimes it's so embarrassing. It could be super embarrassing to say, oh, I feel this way, or I messed up, or there's this thing there's something in the energy I can't figure out. Mm-hmm. And if we're not vulnerable, then we might not be able to get to the heart of it, like what is going on. So let them know that they're supported, and then maybe help them find some professional resources to assist with their specific type of, like, what's coming up for them, basically, to get some tools for it. But this past year, the past 2 years, the energy's been very supportive. So if anything comes up in your reality, really take the opportunity to look at it, because you can clear things really quickly now compared to like decades ago or other lifetimes in the past. The energy's just really primed for it. And especially when you work with the quantum field and your team and spirit to show you where the origination point was and go back through different timelines. It's not that you're just only healing yourself right now, but you're healing through time and space for you and your family and your children and your community. So I love that. Yeah. Thanks, Nicole.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah. Thanks for the question, guys. So keep sharing your questions. If you already put a question in, just put it in again. I'm going to go in the question mark box and see if there's one that pops out at me real quick. Okay, here's one from Dania, and she's asking about, it's basically about the closure of relationships and how to heal that, because her question is, my soul is still connected to my ex. It's been more than a year since the rupture. So I don't really know what that exactly means. I think like the upheaval. So Nicole, do you want to talk about merging energies, cords, or whatever comes through when we're closing relationships?
Yeah. So if you've done everything in the physical, and by the way, when I start to channel now, I tap my third eye. I don't know why that happens. It's like, beam me up. All right. So if you've done everything in the physical, now it's time to heal the spiritual. And the spiritual can be multi-layered, multifaceted, and through multiple timelines, depending on if you've incarnated with the soul more than once, right? And also if there's still tethers or ties. So by the physical, I mean you've said goodbye. I go through a couple different layers. First, it's goodbye, and then it goes into like anger or rage, and then it goes into like resentment, and then it goes into like thank you, and then like forgiveness. Like these are the kind of like the things that I've gone through personally on how to let go of a relationship. Like, or vice versa, maybe forgiveness comes and then thank you. It depends on what layer you're at. So I always say, like, say goodbye on the physical level first. Like whatever ties need to happen or cut or severed, whether that's physically, spiritually, emotionally, doing that in your own time and in your own way, letting go of those tethers. Because we literally, you as souls, depending on how long you've been together, tether. You really do. You become like one unified force. And that's why when people think like they break up and the next week they can get into a relationship, I find that very hard to believe, because from a DNA perspective, you are considerably tethered and intertwined. And if you've been married or have children, the DNA goes a lot deeper and it becomes multi-dimensional, and it's moving through all parts of you and the children and the relationship. So it takes a while for all of those things to unwind. And whether there was drama or trauma in that unwinding will then dictate the level of healing that needs to continue. So with that being said, for you particularly, I'm going to circle back to you. It is still in your energy field. So I am seeing it from a planetary perspective, like popping out of the universal structure. So like popping out of the Earth space continuum and going up into the planets and untethering from there. So like I see that you guys, one party is from like Venus and like another one is from Mars, like quite literally. And I think there was a book about that, but like, I don't know if Spirit's making a joke or they're serious, but there's like Venus and Mars. And I'm seeing like all these lines that need to be untangled so that you guys can really untether on a multidimensional perspective. So how do you do that? So what I do I usually take a salt bath at night. This is what I'm going to suggest for you. Take an Epsom salt bath at night, 20 minutes, Epsom salt. Get out of the bath. Set an intention that in your nightscape or in your dream time, you would then go untether energetically and planetarily between you and the soul and saying goodbye and thank you and letting them go. And you will go up into the ethers and do that work and keep doing it. You'll wake up the next morning either feeling like knowing that you've done it or feeling like some massive shift has happened energetically. And so it really does help you to do that. Like I meet people, and I'm just going to say this because probably somebody on the call needs to hear this. I meet people a lot that are like technically divorced, but still married by name, carrying the name, or actually still married by paper, and then wondering why they can't move on energetically. I'm like, you're kidding me, right? Like we need the divorce papers. We need to say goodbye emotionally and financially, as hard as that's going to be. And I know I'll probably hear like a lot of backlash from that, but you're speaking to somebody that has experience on this, and like you really need to start fresh in order to have that fresh energy. And that means on all layers and all realities. You can do it. The universe has your back. I promise you can. So we can talk more about that at a later date. Circle it all back. All right, and over to you.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, it was so good. Sorry, it like glitched out for a second on my end because I could feel the energy coming through. It must have. So yes, so thank you everybody that's new. We're taking questions, and we'll let some fresh questions come through in the comment box. Hopefully that helps. So that was about separating and healing, and it's all about finding your own autonomy and your sovereignty within the closure of a relationship and situation. So, okay, so hi, Root. She's saying hi. Have we been on long? What have we covered? I think we've done like 3 questions, but the replay will be available. So, yes. And Nicole and I are doing what is called channeling, and we're doing relay channeling, and I also feel streaming, which is where you kind of start to go into trance and it just flows through. So if you are interested in channeling for yourself or others, our class is available now, but we also have a really cool event coming up on January 11th, so 1/11, where we will do trance channeling for the community, and the details are at raisethevibetribe.com, spiritschoolonline.com, or just leave a message and comments, and or send us a DM. So if you want to join us, we're excited for that. So let's take another question. And everybody's so sweet. How to close circles? Do you mean groups? Like, share a little bit more about that question. Let's see. Okay, I am going to look for one that just like pops out at me. Hi everyone, so happy to see you guys here. I'm so happy. It's a good time, and wow, there's a lot there's a lot of people on here. So let me go into the question box because it's a little bit easier. Okay, okay, let's see. Fractal Flower, hi, I'm wondering if there's any information that can give me clarity in my relationship with my partner. And the first thing I see is almost like a stained glass that was shattered. So it's like there's pieces and confusion layered over each other. And so I'm just seeing get clarity, almost like there's a whole pile of information of emotions, experiences, packets of thought forms. And so it's all compounded and just layered on top of each other in shattered pieces. And so they're saying, pull these pieces out, maybe through journaling, talk therapy, working with a therapist, communicating with each other, and start to get streamlined. Like, what is your feeling? What is their feeling? Because there's a lot of overlapping, which kind of keeps going in a cycle. So I've had this before, like I'll feel a certain way and I think, oh my gosh, you know, like my friend or partner has this experience or they're thinking this way about me and not at all, but then I start to feel a response to it and they feed off of me. So it's just like this loop that keeps going. So open communication is really important. I'm getting that you're very empathic, clairsentient, and also you're telepathically picking up on thoughts. So speak it out loud, clear the confusion. And I just keep seeing two columns, like journaling or figuring out how to get two columns of this is my experience, my emotions, my thoughts, my beliefs, and this is theirs. And really having, they're saying, an adult conversation. So I think that will help. So yeah, that's what's coming through. Hopefully that helps and you can make a little note of it. Let's see. Oh, Fractal Flower, you are saying the telepathy is strong. Yeah, Nicole, let's talk a little bit about telepathy and the importance of like clearing our energy, especially in our day-to-day life or in sessions. Do you want to share a little bit about your experience with telepathic messages?
Yeah, sorry. My throat again. So I have to clean myself every 2 hours because energetically I'm just always picking up on other people's thoughts, and because like if I go out to the store, especially if I'm online, I even find I have to clear myself after watching a YouTube video because I'm just telepathically picking up on everybody's vibrations and like their underlying stuff. So if I'm even connected to the people, it's like 20 times worse. So my good friend Jackie talks about Florida water and how important that is to use Florida water. I do find that is the easiest for me in times of like needing to go. But then I love Epsom salt baths. I love sound. I love mantra. I love doing yoga. Palo Santo, sage. These are other things that are very easy for me to use to clear out my energy field so that I can get a clear thought. And we do this for a living, and sometimes we even forget, or I forget, it's just myself, that I'm picking up on somebody else's stuff, and it might not be my stuff. So like, and a clear example for this, being a woman, like getting ready for the day, you feel amazing, you look hot, whatever, you're feeling yourself, and then you go to the store, and then all of a sudden you feel like shit. You feel like you have the wrong outfit, your hair looks like crap, you gained 100 pounds, like just all the stuff in your head, and it's like, my wasn't even any that had nothing. Or if I all of a sudden am insecure in my relationship and I'm thinking like this person doesn't like me, they're not into me, like I'm clearly picking up on other people's thoughts and the vibration in the collective. Maybe the collective's going through that right now. Maybe it was Valentine's Day and there's people that are just upset or sad because of the day, or Christmas, they're missing their loved ones in spirit. So we always are reading the universe, so to speak. We are sentient beings. We are not singular, even though we are living singular life. Well, we're actually not living a singular life, but it looks like we're living a singular life. And we are all connected energetically. So we do move in a group effect. Like there are pockets, but there's a group mentality within that. And we do move together in a symbiotic motion. I mean, have you ever just thought about driving? Like, how come there aren't a million accidents a day? You know, like cars can veer off ever so slightly to the left or to the right, and roads are very tight, especially where I live. And like, how come we're not hitting each other? It's just like the energy just makes this way of, it's a dance. It's a, you know, just like nature, everything's a dance. So we are also in that dance. So energetically, this is why it's so important to do your own work, because you find out who you are, like by yourself. Like, who are you by yourself? When you're sitting in meditation, or you're sitting in channeling, or you're about to go into a session, like, who are you by yourself? What is your natural vibe? What are your natural thoughts, feelings, vibrations, emotions? And then from that baseline, if anything fluctuates or moves, then you know you've picked up on somebody else's energy. And that's usually how it goes. Yeah.
Yes. I was just gonna put a little for everybody that's new, I'm just putting a new little message here, and so they know what we're doing. They're like, wait, what's going on here? But I love that. That felt really good and like solid to me, Nicole, the message that you were sharing, because sometimes we forget that we are connected to others and how important just having our clarity. I see like our light, it's our light, and we're here to share it and have interaction with others, but not so much absorb to the point we don't realize what is ours. So I'll often say, wait, where did that thought come from? Or why do I all of a sudden feel my energy shift? And I'll ask, is this mine? And then I'll get a knowing that it is or it isn't. And if it is mine, it's like what we talked about earlier. Maybe it's some shadow stuff coming up that's an opportunity for us to heal and clear it, which always helps us to grow and mature in our spiritual sense and in our let's say like clair senses practice as healers and channels. But we have these gifts and we use them daily with ourselves and for others too. But everybody has these gifts, and it's so important so that we can feel sound of, I'm hearing sound of heart, mind, body, and spirit. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And everyone, hi, welcome. So let's take some more readings. If you can put them here in the chat thread, it might be a little bit easier. And I'm just going to pin this new one to let new people know here real quick. So offering readings. Okay, taking questions on spiritual health. Okay, guys. That's what we're switching over to. But okay, so how do we clear intrusive thought patterns during communication? Oh, I love this. So everybody works differently, and I find that a whole collection of different tools helps. So sound, you can use like professional energy healing sound instruments, but if you've heard me before, I love just turning the bass up in the car, or you know, the speakers in the house and dancing it out. Like just any kind of music. It's science, guys. Like the sound frequency breaks up energy and moves it out of the aura. But also visualization and vocalization. There's too many times, the Council of Light, that's who I channel, they talk about there's too many times where humans give away their power because they forget the magic or how to use their vocals, their spoken word. I'm hearing vocal cords, spoken word, the tone that comes through. Not only is it the words, but it's the energy behind it. And so I had some things happen like a few months ago where this energy kept coming around in my house, and I knew who it belonged to, and I was like, So I kind of like just sat with it for a minute. I was like, why do they keep thinking about me? What's going on here? Like, why don't they reach out in the physical realm? Finally, I had enough. And I was like, you can leave. And the second I said, I see you, like, I'm not participating. If you can't connect to me in the physical, I'm not doing this astral conversation with a human. Like, come on now. I do that with spirit, not human. And so I was like, you can leave. And the minute I said, I called it, you know, I was like, clarity, I know you're here. Connect to me in physical or be gone. The energy left, you know, and I was aware of it in my heart and mind. But the moment I said it vocally is the moment that it shifted. So they really want to say, like, if you feel there's a lot of thoughts coming at you, figure out where is this coming from. And sometimes it's the collective, or it's programming, like literally like commercials and programming in the airwaves. So getting clarity of that and saying, oh, I see this. This is some kind of outside interference. And visualizing, you can put a boundary up. Some of us like to do a thick gold wall, like the metal gold, you know, like a bar of gold in front of us, to clarify our energy field and not let anything through. It filters information. But you can do any type of visualization. You can work with breath work to move the energy out that's already like come into your system, and exercise, and then just speak it out loud and say, that's not mine. No, thank you. And for me, that's worked probably the best once I got an awareness of where is this coming from. Anything else to share, Nicole? How do you work with intrusive thoughts?
Yeah, I usually, well, again, I go into, yeah, I do that, like where you set the boundary with the energy, but then also, also again, with the shadow self, like making sure, like I can see it, and I call it kind of like slimy, like I can see it, feel it, but then making sure it doesn't get anywhere in my auric field, that I'm good, so it has nothing to hook into, and that, you know, and that I would clear it. Again, going back to like all of those things, the Palo Santo, the sage, the Florida water, really getting into clearing that right away energetically. Because for me, because I have other people in the house, it could be somebody else's thought as well. So I don't necessarily have control over what they're thinking, right? So, so just going in the airwaves and commanding and demanding and casting it out, really. And sometimes it's a spirit. Like sometimes if you just get an obsessive thought over and over again, it can be a spirit too. Like if the thought isn't clearing, so then you'll have to go a little bit heavier and ask like Archangel Michael or Archangel Metatron. I call on Metatron, Michael, and Gabriel, and I ask them to remove, the spirit. Michael, obviously, to bring in the light of God. Gabriel, to use the voice of God. And then Metatron just transfixes and transcends time and space. So just moving it into an alternate dimension and wherever that spirit needs to go. So I like doing that as well, giving it an opportunity to remove itself.
Yeah, I love that. So let's see, there was something here on the, I'm looking at all the comments.
I know.
It's like, woo!
A lot.
It's a lot. Fractal Flower is saying, I'm really so grateful for an opportunity to listen to such aligned advice, and it makes me feel like I have a true family. Aw, thanks, girl. I'm so happy you're here and we could read for you today. There was another question Nicole is going to have you answer. Let me find it. The thread is going so quickly here. Okay, one second. Okay, guys, just put your questions in again because it's going so fast. I'm afraid I'm going to freeze the screen again. And let me go into, okay, here's one for you, Nicole, from Starlight27. She says, or he say that are there any mystical creatures that will be supporting us for 2024? I love that.
I mean, so many. Like, I don't know. Oh God, you guys are gonna laugh at me. But like when I first asked that question, like I see like I see all these spirits, but then like I see like star beings, right, coming through. And then I see our brothers and sisters from the sky, and then I see like definitely like I don't even know, like Bigfoot or Sasquatch, which is very funny to me. But I feel like there is a lot of that energy hitting the planet right now, which is they are interdimensional, but they are making themselves known very much so to the collective and to the beings here, that they are loved and supported. So specifically, if you're being called out into nature, into beauty, into sleep under the stars, or to camp, or for me, glamping, you know, in a very nice tent, that is the call for it, is that those interdimensional beings of the woods, they are trying to connect with us. So but I definitely have our star friends, and I definitely have the angels for sure. Mystical beings. A lot of mer people are coming through as well. And then I also have sirens, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with sirens, but they are like goddesses that sit on the rocks that call the ships to shore and making sure that there's a safe passage, from the sailors have a safe passage from out to sea to the shoreline. So I have that too. They're mystical creatures as well. So
yeah, I love that. Someone is Zenette is saying Phoenix and the dragon. Yeah, the dragon energy is really strong working with healers and channels. I love working with dragons because they really clear space and they call things out and they protect, and then they can be playful and also really, really strong. So I love that. Somebody's mentioning they love your chair. She says, wow.
My channeling chair. It's chairs been a long time. Yeah.
Story, girl. Share the story. I love it. About your chair.
Oh, share the story. Oh, yeah. So a girlfriend of mine, because I have amazing friends, I just called her up one day, and she rehabs a bunch of houses and has all this like furniture and vintage and antique stuff. And I was like, I'm seeing like a gold and white chair. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I need to have it. It's like I just see a very ornate gold chair. And I was like, and Metatron told me to grab it, that would be my channeling chair. And this is like before I had gone into trance fully with him. And she's like, oh my God, I have that. It's like called a Queen Anne chair or Queen Elizabeth chair or something like that. And she's like, come over and get it. So I grabbed it. So it was probably like 13 years ago, maybe. 2013. I don't know, 10 years ago. So then I taught myself how to go into trance by sitting in this chair for like 3 hours a day, teaching myself how to go further and further back in the trance, and every minute like letting go of the vocal cords and letting go of the body, then letting go of my consciousness, and because it had a high back chair, it was high back, like, so if I sat here and went into trance, I could just let the body fall back and he could come forward. I didn't have to hold myself up. So this chair has many, many hours of channeling and going into trance, has a very good patina on it. And I love it. And like, I can just sit in this chair and then automatically blast off, just because it has, it's a subconscious memory. And that's what we talk a lot about in the channeling course, is that we need to get disciplined and also making dates with spirit and practice dates with spirit, like the same time every day, same place every day, and you go in the trance and you teach yourself how to go in the trance, and we walk you through those stages. And I had a very amazing mentor who taught me, who's been doing this for like 30 years. She's fucking amazing. And she just taught me that every day, like you sit the same place every day, same time, without fail. And if you are going to miss a date with spirit, you literally tell your team in spirit, I will not be there for that day. And then you reschedule with them, just like you would with a colleague or a friend. And it's funny. So I thought, I believed her, obviously. So I did that for a while. And then I remember I was in the grocery store one time or somewhere, and I like was missing my appointment with spirit. And all of a sudden I started to go in the trance, and I was like, oh my God, like I started to like leave my body, and I was like, no, like, no, I'm here. I'm so sorry, guys. Like I have to reschedule with you. And so it really does work. And you'll notice that like your aura, you'll notice that your team will show up, and your subconscious mind or your conscious mind starts to go to sleep, fall back, so that the subconscious can come forward, and you'll realize you're starting to leave the body kind of without you noticing. It's pretty remarkable, because you get into that repetitive state. Thank you. Repetitive state. Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah, so I love this. So when we first start, like it can take hours and a lot of consistency and showing up, and everybody's going to be different for them because there's multiple factors involved. But now, like Nicole, you can go in, like I could go in right now if I wanted, like 30 seconds, and I'm channeling the Council of Light vocally. Same for you. Like just over the past 5 years that we've known each other, or however long it's been, I feel like you go in much quicker now. Metatron comes through so strong.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just it's also a safety. Like I feel safe with it now. Not that I didn't feel safe with it before, but I thought I was going to scare people a lot with it. And right now I'm like, I don't really care. This is me. I'm also older. Like I don't kind of care anymore. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to let my, weird freak flag fly. You know what I mean? Like this is just the gift that I have, and like, so be it. And it's all good. And yeah, so there's an air of safety and also trusting my guides and knowing them inexplainably, like inside and out. Like you know your guides so strong, and you understand all their forms and facets and all their little intricacies, that you literally jump out of your own body into the arms of the angels, or at least that's how I see it, and they take over the rest. So it's fun.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it. So you'll definitely be using this chair at our event next
Yes,
month when we.
I will. I will go in the trance right here. Yeah.
So if you guys go to spiritschoolonline.com, you can join us on January 11, and we're going to be going to trance and channeling and doing. We're going to be going in with the intention of a message for the collective and taking some questions from the audience. So that'll be really, really fun. What do you think some of the strongest benefits of channeling are, Nicole?
So I feel like some of the benefits of channeling is like the strongest is to actually have the life you want, right? So like when you understand how spirit is speaking to you, and you understand all the intricacies of speaking to your guides and what your spiritual guides feel like as opposed to your ancestors, what your star family feels like. And so like you can actually live the life that you want because you're trusting and understanding their guidance and knowing that they have your back. And also understanding and trusting your own psychic abilities and your own unique perception of how you communicate with the spiritual world and the physical world, so that you know you have your back. So that you get to show up every day, you actually live the life that you want. So for me, it's been extreme measures and experiences of manifestation. Everything from like, health to finances to love. And finances, I mean, like I'm a mother of 2 small children, so that's very important to me to be able to support myself and my children, right? And for health, to make sure that I am healthy and that my family is healthy. And then education, to develop different ways to travel, and also to develop different like places I want to go to on the earth, and making plans for the future and knowing that those plans are going to work. So that's how channeling has really benefited my life, and also the lives of people around me, because I get to wake up every day and co-create with spirit, as do you, as does everybody. Everybody has that as a birthright. And so like we are going to show you how to do that, how to co-create with spirit, so that you live the most magical, present, forward thinking life that you want, that is just full of miracles and happiness and joy. And if life does show up, because for some of us it will, like where drama may happen or trauma, we can also walk through that with spirit, with our head held high, and heal on such a deep level that maybe you couldn't get to those depths before because there was programming or something in the way. So channeling really gets you to look at who you are as a person, and then also how you perceive the world around you, and then how the world around you can support you to the life that you really want to live. So it's just like multifaceted, and it's more than just like talking to your mom on the other side. Although that is so super healing, because I have a very dear friend and client of mine right now who just lost her mother. She's in her 20s. It's a big deal. And so like having that ability to communicate with mom on the other side every day, all day, and to have her pierce the veil where she's literally in the kitchen cooking still, or she's literally on doctor's appointments with you, like that's so, so important. So we will take it to that level as well, where you will literally be in connection with your ancestors on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, thank you, girl. I love it. There was a question that just came through. It's like, this is a reading because it's piggybacking like what you mentioned, but Self Awakening is saying that they were able to travel when they were younger, but now feeling blocked. So what can they do to help clear that block, but also what are some things that everybody can do when they are met with a block that they're trying to work through or clear away?
What are some of the things they can do to clear away a block? So for me, it is, I mean, it's hard. Okay, so I'm kind of going in the channel right now. For me, it's literally going into the channel or going into trance and like finding out where the block or the frequency is in my soul, and then quickly like removing that on an energetic level. But honestly, if it's in a physical format and we're not going in the trance or we're not going the channeling yet, I'm saying, like, I'm hearing confronting it with an open heart, like confronting it, stepping up to the plate, for going towards it. Like if there's like a fear or something, like facing the fear, like doing an about face and turning the energy on its head, or going towards that block and finding out why you have that block. Where does that block stem from? Is it ancestral? Is it this life, past life? And then what can I do? And usually to transmute a block, you need to do the opposite. So if I have a block around money, let's just say I don't like, I don't even want to say this, but like, let's say I have a block around, money. And so I go into that, and where does that come from? Is it programming? Is it societal? Is it community? Is it ancestral? Is it trauma? What do I need to do to heal that? And so looking at money as it's a tool, and it can be used for good or it can be used for not so good. And so allowing that tool to be neutral, and the energy that we put behind it, is what we create. Because there's a lot of light workers who, quite frankly, are broke, right? Or have a hard time making money because they see money as a root of evil, but they're feeling the evil behind the money and what the money has been used for, instead of feeling all the good that the money can bring to the planet, such as developing new, medicine, new technology, new homes for people, food, like all different. I mean, this is like a loaded question, but they wanted to go there, of course, my team. So look at these blocks and we learn to use it for good, or look at the opposite and how we can move through the block and really bring that energy into the light of God, into the light of the universe, into the light of divinity. So thanks. My team.
I love it. Yeah, they're saying, so basically it's like limiting beliefs. Yes, you can think of it like that. And to me, limiting a belief is a thought. It's a programmed thought. It's something we tell ourselves, and then it starts to program the energy field to be a particular vibration. So moving past the belief, clearing it by figuring out where did this come from. And there's a lot of techniques for moving and releasing energy. And then reprogramming. So putting in the belief that you want and literally starting to create your reality is going to switch the energetic signature that you're vibrating in, and it will start to pull towards you more opportunities for that which you're striving for. Now, in the process, like in the transformation of it, you will have opportunities come forward that are going to test you. Basically, it's going to be like, here's an opportunity. We're putting it right in front of your face. Are you going to go with what you did in the past, or are you going to take a minute and breathe and really think about it and move forward? And sometimes it feels sticky or heavy, but breathe, let the energy move out. Sometimes it comes through emotion. Let it move out, and then take the next little baby step to open for the new possibility. And it's a gradual process, but it's like riding a bike. I'm seeing once you get it and you're now vibrating with the new belief system or the energy flow, it's going to speed things up really, really quickly. And you'll start to see an abundance of opportunities. But for you particularly, I see about 3 to 5 different facets of this. So I would write it all down on a spreadsheet and really kind of go back and say, well, where is this coming from? What does it bring up in my body? And start clearing it from the body through, you can do EFT, emotional freedom technique, or tapping. That's a really good way to work with it. And so, yeah, it's a beautiful experience to be able to let go of things or graduate from things and flow into the next space. But within it, there's also that honoring of of who we were at that time and all that we did and the wisdom we received and moving forward. So emotions can come up with any huge transition. And if we're working through a programming, emotions can come up, and being aware of that and honoring the emotions rather than feeling ashamed is really important as well. So it's also, how do you hold this space and how do you carry yourself? How do you speak to yourself in these processes with any type of transition is really important, and that's coming through. And there's so much energy here, Nicole. I'm like, I can go into trance so quickly. I just like really feel it, so I'm just streaming it all out. But yeah, hopefully that really helps. And thanks for the question. That's really profound. So there was another question that's like somewhere up in the feed. And let me just basically give the overall about it. Is like, how do we live or proceed forward or hold ourselves in the day when there's things outside of our control or our life, like on the world stage, the platform, that makes us or brings us grief or sadness, or we're concerned for it. So Nicole, I'll let you kind of just talk about that. Like what is a good approach as a conscious, loving human to when we see things on the world stage that bring us sadness? What do you have for this question coming through?
So for me, and what my team is always saying, it's always about like holding the highest timeline. So even when there's war, even when there's famine, strife, murder, rape, all of this, abuse, trauma, violence, we always hold the highest timeline. Not who's right, who's wrong, not this or that. Even for myself, with things I've gone through, we always hold the highest timeline. Honoring both sides of the equation. I mean, honoring is a word that I mean just like knowing that it's there, remaining neutral. People would say, but then if you remain neutral, you're standing by while innocent people are being murdered. But you're not actually going into the fight or into the war, are you? So what are you going to do? Sit at home and worry and just put more energy and anger and fear out there? No, you're going to hold the highest timeline so that the energy can trickle down and the miracles can happen. And we call it unraveling the timeline. So if there is a timeline of war, or if there's a timeline of genocide, or there's a timeline of famine or murder, we hold the highest timeline of love, peace, and unity. And when we do that, that is our energy going out into the world. And then like God, the universe, creation, the angels bring forth the miracle, the manifestation of that timeline when enough of us are holding it. And so that the unraveling can begin to happen. Unless you're on the cleanup crew, if you are literally going to that war place and you're cleaning up the dead bodies, or you are feeding the children who are homeless, or you are putting the bandage on the sick, then really you have to hold the highest timeline. That is your duty as a conscious being, is to hold the highest timeline, that peace would happen, that love would happen, that we are not here to add to more of that anger or more of that fear, and more of that strife. And no, I have not experienced that in this country, because we live in the US and we do not have that here. But we have other wars, so to say, that we are fighting that are kind of unseen. Mm-hmm. And so what we do is that we hold a highest timeline for our own humanity, our own place, that the world would function on a timeline of peace, unity, and love. And we all have our own inner war, and war that we're working on with our families, with loved ones, with people we may have had said goodbye to, things that are happening in the collective, because that is always is a representation of what's happening on the bigger world stage. So yeah, that's what my team always says, like, just hold the highest timeline, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm. I love that message. So if you are one, so we're going to go into a little space here. If you are one who is a seer or a healer or medium that helps spirits, then you can work in the astral plane from wherever you are in the world. I would not recommend it unless you're professionally trained, because there's a lot of energy movement right now. But you can work in the astral world, the astral realm, to assist those beings that are in the process of transitioning, or those that have been traumatized where their soul fragmented. So help them with the soul retrieval, refragmentation. And there are many etheric hospitals and spaces in spirit world where you can assist as a part of like the spiritual cleanup crew. But again, only you would only know this if this is a part of what you're called to do. So they were asking, how do we hold the highest timeline? Is it just through visualization? It's more than visualization. Visualization is the mental body, the mental field. And yes, it gives direction and a blueprint for what we would like to see. But the emotion needs to come through. It's all about energy, the energy of the solar plexus in the heart that infuses this whole vision or reality. So when you think about, like when you watch a movie and then you go into those 3D or whatever 5D movies where you're like at the amusement parks, you're watching the movie, but then they move the seat on you and they spray the water. You want to bring in all the sensations into the vision. And I like to connect with higher self and higher vibrational frequencies, beings, to let them show me the vision, because it's more about being a part of it and holding it and seeing and asking what is the highest timeline, knowing within yourself that it is of peace. But you can't really force it. When you're in meditation and you're doing this work, it's not, you can't really force it. You put the intention behind and you let all the power of God and angels and spirit show up. I'm also getting a message about, and this is hard to say because it's just so heartbreaking, but I'm also getting a message about people when we come into any form of experience. Please know that some of the brightest, strongest souls are in the most challenging, hardest spaces, and they volunteered. And this is where it's like messes with the ego mind, the human mind, because I'm like, who would, volunteer? But we've seen this when we talk with spirits and they talk about their life path. Like I've worked with spirits that say, my intention was to go in for this amount of time, and I feel confident and I'm at peace with how I crossed over. But it's not that way for everybody. So there's no one way, black or white, but they're just talking about what can we do, because there's a lot that goes on in a spiritual perspective of warring what is happening on earth. There's a lot that's going on in the physical world and who's behind it. So holding the highest timeline is going into that space of holding peace, asking for support, and really unifying. And if you guys have ever looked at the studies when they get masses of people together that meditate and you can see it and peace floods the earth that day, like there's a real science behind it. So I'm gonna look at the questions or comments here because I see the screen keep flowing as I'm bringing the messages through. One last thing, if you're interested in like life missions and path, I really, really found a lot of peace in Michael Newton and Brian Weiss's books, Journeys of Souls, Destinies of Souls, Many Lives, Many Masters. I really found a lot of peace in those books, and it put the puzzle pieces together. But there's other books out there too and resources to help you. Nicole, did anything else come through for you on that? And then we can go to the topic.
No, I think we've both, I think it was fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Yeah, I love
that. Well, I'm going to close that little part with this quote. Thank you, Zanita. She's saying, light shines brightest in the darkness, such as a star in space or diamonds in the earth. Yeah, so your light is needed. And it doesn't matter where you are in the physical world, you are making a difference. But also, like, if you're anywhere near a ley line, or if you work with streams and water, natural energy lines in the earth, and you can go there physically, it will amplify the message and the blessings that you share with earth. So love that. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's take a couple more questions and then I think we will close for today. We'll be back tomorrow with more Q&A over at Amy Sikarskie and at my angel team. So I'm going to put that in here. Nicole, are you able to scroll? Do you want to try and scroll while I type this and see hopefully it doesn't mess it up?
Oh my God. I'm going to do this very gently. Okay. I can't see the questions. I can just see people. There's lots of people. Hold on 1 second. Um, oh, guys. Okay. The heart has an electromagnetic field 5,000 times stronger than the rest of the body. Yes, it does. Absolutely. Okay. Guys, put in your question or reading. Blessings to all, peace on earth. I love these comments. That's great. Thank you guys. You're so forthright, so forthcoming. So basically, can a soul get stolen? Okay, there we go. Here's some questions. A soul cannot get stolen, but it can get overridden. And sometimes we have like either a walk-in situation where, I mean, I guess, God, if we want to say a soul gets stolen, not really stolen, but like you can give your power away to another dimensional being, and by that time you get hooked and your soul goes on a ride. You can have an overlay. It's kind of like the opposite of what we do. Like if we're channeling light, like you can kind of have an overlay of something that's not wanted, you know, and whether you call that dark or whatever, light versus dark, it just, that's more of like what Amy and I do is by free will and inviting high dimensional beings, light, to come through the body. But if somebody unknowingly sells their soul or gives their power away to another force that typically doesn't want the best for you, or is using you as food or collateral, that can happen. I also do know of walk-ins and walk out, like people that have left the body at will and have had another spirit walk in. That would be a transition of the soul for one body. So things like that can happen. Yes. Okay. Why do I feel like I don't belong on earth and I feel so alien? Because you are. No. Okay, that's sub cougar. So girl, I was just saying, like, if you feel that way, then that's usually like a clean line and a clue that you really are not from here. And some of my friends who are very I want to say third dimensional, but I don't like using that word as a negative. So I'll say who are very like grounded and don't necessarily channel. So when I talk about ETs and other people being from other dimensions and other place, but then I hook it into spiritual history and what the Native American people have been talking about and what NASA has backed up, and then what our government has even come out and said. It's like, it's very, it's hidden in plain sight, all of that knowledge. And so when we feel inside of our soul that we are from another time and place, we really are from another time and place. And this is not just, Earth isn't the only planet here, and it's not the only dimension here. Okay. And then I had somebody who asked, grieving a breakup and a close friendship, should I keep hope and I feel faith they'll be back? So it's coach somebody, I can't see it. So I kept seeing that, and the answer is yes. Whatever your question was, like, I can't process it, but I kept seeing that question today, and my team kept screaming at me, yes. So whatever the question is, your answer is yes. Like that. This is like rapid fire. Oh yeah, don't worry, you're not a freak. We all love you. We love the crazy here. I always say I'm a good kind of crazy. I'm fun. I'm a fun kind of crazy. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Okay. I think that was successful. I didn't hang up on myself. All right. Do you have any more questions?
I remember one from earlier when you were channeling just now. Somebody had asked, do souls always come back to Earth? And the answer is no. No, not every human's going to come back to this planet on their next incarnation. So I wanted to share that. And if you have a question, pop it through. Pretty Preston saying, we're all mad here. And the most loving.
Alice in Wonderland. I love that. The Mad Hatter. Or the cat. I forget who says that. Maybe the cat.
Yeah. So, okay, let me see if there was anything else. And then if not, we'll see you guys tomorrow. We're going to be over on our personal pages. Nicole is at My Angel Team, and I'm at Amy Sikarskie. And then we also have other lives. And Nicole's been on my podcast. So I have a podcast, Spirit and Soul Healing Podcast. Any place that you can find a podcast, it's there. We have YouTube channel. If you look up Amy Sikarskie, and you can catch some of our older lives on Instagram that we did like 5 years ago. I just re-released those, which is so fun. Lots of like nuggets and gems of wisdom in there when it comes to working with spirit and life path and mission and interdimensional healing, all of that. So it's so fun. If you guys have any topics or questions that you'd like us to talk about next time, this will save as a replay, and if you can put it in captions or give us your feedback, that would be awesome, because once we post, the comments disappear. And like when Instagram first came out 6 years ago, the comments stayed. Now they're gone, so we miss out on so much, but we would love to hear from you. And let's see. Oh, okay, so one last question, because do you see that one, girl? It's like really popping out at me. From Craig, or Greg. Are stones, incense, feathers really effective in channeling positive or casting out negativity? Okay, so basically using tools with energy work and healing. And I'll just say yes, it's about the intention, and it's about letting the magic or the energy of the earth elemental tool work with you. Incense can clear a space, as can sage, Palo Santo, so it's the smoke, can clear a space when you incorporate it with your intentions and positive energy. Crystals can be used, they're used in electronics right now, like Steady and Marcel Vogel. You can utilize crystals for positive energy. I have a crystal table that I do, it's not out right now, but energy work with using crystals, using light, using sound. So when you're clairvoyant, clairsentient, and you know and you can see energy, it's really freaking cool to see how using the tool can help you, and it also helps hold the space. So I would say yes, as well as music or any type of sound. Anything you have to share there, Nicole? Do you have any favorite tools that you use when you do energy work or reading?
Well, I have this evil eye bracelet that I wear all the time, so that protects me from negative energy coming my way or anybody giving me the evil eye. And then I have Metatron's cube in, I think it's in shungite. So the shungite helps me with the EMFs and the electromagnetic fields, because I'm very sensitive to that. And then I have my serpent ring, which is an ode to the goddess, and that I am a goddess in human form. So there's all of our little talisman that we use to really just amp up our energy field. And when I don't have these things on me and I do a show or a reading, I feel like I'm naked. You know what I mean? And it's like, so the Metatron cube obviously is very special to me. And like, I put myself in an actual Metatron cube. So like, it's always moving and shifting and removing energy that's no longer wanted or warranted in my field. As far as my home, I always have incense burning. Like, I think you can see the incense holder behind me, like always have incense burning. It always smells like a church in my room, you know? So just anything that brings you peace, joy, and love. Like I have a bottle of holy dirt behind the camera, which is from New Mexico, from a chapel that was this healing chapel in New Mexico that people went to this pilgrimage and literally would walk again. They would get healed. Miracles would happen. So I have that sitting here. So like whatever brings you that comfort and that healing energy, absolutely 1000% use it. And you can find they're all over the place. The universe and nature speaks to us at all times. So
yeah, I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, a couple of things. Like we could go on and on forever. So what what cube? Metatron's cube. Look up Metatron's cube for sacred geometry. Yeah, it's really amazing. And then there was something else. Oh, Nicole, you mentioned your shows. Will you share with everybody what you have coming up online and in person, just like some of the new ones, and where they can meet you and connect for an
Well, definitely like connect with us at spiritschoolonline.com. We have our Learn to Channel flagship course that we're re-releasing. You can join it now, and we are doing our lives in January. And as we release more information, we will let you know. We've done a prequel and an advanced course on top of that as well, and we will be releasing those soon. So, but the Learn to Channel actual flagship course gives you the nuts and bolts of everything. So if you want to understand how to channel everything from a chakra to like what is the highest timeline, how do I move time and energy and work in the space-time continuum and fucking go on a ship, you know, I don't know, to Mars. Like it just, we do everything from A to Z. It's a lot of fun. And so we hit all levels from beginners to advanced. So it's a perfect course. So that is January's gems. And then I will be live and in person in Pottstown, PA. That is January 17th. And then I'll be live and in person at Hamilton, New Jersey. That's January, I believe, 24th. Everything is on my link tree on my handle, you know, myangelteam.com or myangelteam on Instagram. And then Amy and I are doing a channeling event 111, which is super amazing because we haven't done a live channeling event in years. And so it's going to be fucking stellar. And we're doing it online so that everybody can have a seat and we can reach the masses. And then Amy and I have a special in-person event that we're doing in February. Yeah, but we haven't released any of that yet. So you can actually meet us in person in February if you would like to. And I promise it's going to be a great time. So we have a lot of fun stuff coming up for you. And then always, I do psychic development courses in person, and that's in New Britain, PA, which is Bucks County. So if you're in the Philadelphia area. So, yeah.
Oh, thanks, girl. Love it, love it, love it. Well, thank you everybody for joining. We're so happy you're here on the live or the replay. If you have any questions for us about any like services or opportunities, put it in the comment below. We'll be sure to be checking back on it, or you can find us online through link in bio, and we'll be back on again tomorrow. What time did we say? Like give or take a few minutes.
I think either 11 or noon. I have to look again.
Okay.
So.
11 or noon Eastern Standard Time.
Follow our stories. We'll post it. We'll let you guys know. Yeah.
So, all right. Thanks,
All
guys.
right.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye. Bye.